Hi, thank you for watching this broadcast, Danger of Living in a State of Survival, and how to shift to the state of thriving. Grow your wealth, live on your terms. I'm Millen Livis, financial independence mentor for professional and entrepreneurial women who want to be financially independent so they enjoy more freedom and choices in their lives without winning a lottery, marrying a wealthy partner, or killing themselves at work. And if you want to know your unique financial freedom number and your unique financial freedom date, when you will work because you want to, not because you have to, for the next few days, you can still sign up for a complimentary call with me, speakwithmillen.com. If it sounds like something that you would like to do, you would like to talk about creating your pathway to financial independence, go ahead and sign up right now because I have very limited time availability. Okay, today we'll talk about what happens when we live in a state of survival and how you can stop this downward spiral and shift to thriving, whether it's your money, your relationships, your health, or your career. There is an old expression. A healthy person tends to think about hundreds of things at once. A person who is seriously sick thinks only about one thing, how to get better. And if you recall a time in your life when you were very sick or deeply depressed, at that time you probably couldn't care less about anything else. Money, ambition, even relationships were not top of mind for you. As we all know, the last year of experiencing COVID-related restrictions, confinements, loss of jobs, loss of business, loss of income, all of this caused a lot of stress in people's lives around the world. And so too many people these days live in a state of survival. Would you agree? But you know what? The state of survival was quite common way before the COVID craziness. Let me share with you my story. I recall when I walked out of my financially comfortable marriage, my financially comfortable job, and started my investment business. Things were rocky for a while. In fact, things were so rocky that I got to the point when I was financially broke, physically and emotionally broken, and was about to give up on myself. I couldn't sleep. I had no appetite, and I kept thinking over and over and over again that I ruined my life, that I am a complete failure. Frankly, I was not really living at that time. I was surviving, literally surviving. Now, from a scientific standpoint, living in a state of survival is living under continuous stress, continuous prolonged stress. So what happens in our body and our mind, our brain, when we experience prolonged stress? When we perceive a stressful circumstance that threatens us in some way or form, could be loss of a job or a loss of a business or loss of a loved one, something that is out of our control and impossible for us to predict, our primitive nervous system, called the sympathetic nervous system, turns on, and the body mobilizes an enormous amount of energy in response to the cause of stress. The body is automatically tapping into the available resources to deal with perceived danger. Our heart rate and breathing rate increase so we can run, fight, or hide. More glucose gets released into the bloodstream to produce more energy. Our immune system initially gets activated, but then it weakens as adrenaline and cortisol, the neurotransmitters also known as stress hormones, flood the muscles. These chemicals flood the muscles, providing a rush of energy for us to fight or flight. That's what is happening in our bodies. In the short term, all creatures in nature can tolerate adverse conditions by fighting or fleeing the cause of stress and danger. We're built for handling short-term stress. And when the short-term stress, for example, receiving a frustrating call from a banker or your client or your boss, when this cause of short-term stress is over, the body normally returns to balance within hours, restoring its vital functions. However, when stress does not end after a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, or a few months, the body does not return to balance on its own. So here's the truth that we often ignore. No organism, no creatures in nature can endure living in a survival mode, in a state of prolonged stress for a long time. We just can't endure it for a long time. And not only that, we humans tend to think about our problems over and over and over again, reliving our past events, our past experience, and even forecasting future worst case scenario, right? When we forecast future, usually we think about worst case scenario, usually, which triggers a flood of stress chemicals by the thought alone. By the thought alone. In other words, we can knock our bodies out of balance simply by thinking about some disturbing past or by trying to control our unpredictable future. And guess what? Our body doesn't know the difference between the actual event that happened to us and caused the stress response and the memory of this event that created the same emotion, which is now stored in our body. And so by a thought alone, our body can re-experience emotional distress wired in our memory bank over and over and over again. And by the way, everything that I share with you today is based on the research and books by Dr. Joe Dispenza and Dr. David Hawkins. So, emotions are chemical byproducts, chemical consequences of our past experiencing certain events in our past, and they are stored in our bodies. We remember events better when we remember how we felt when that happened. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the chemical imprint in our body. And the combination of people, objects, and stressful circumstances at a particular time and place in the past gets stored in our neural architecture as a holographic image. And that's how our entire state of being, the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act, our entire state of being becomes confined by the boundaries of our past. We keep analyzing our lives, our possibilities within the emotions of our past and continue suffering more and more because we cannot think greater than our past stressful experience, whether it's health issues, relationship breakup, loss of job or business, loss of income. And that's why it becomes a vicious loop. We think, act, and feel within the boundaries of our past stressful experience. And since the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act forms our personality, and as you know, our personality creates our reality, we feel stuck. We feel stuck. We cannot move beyond what happened to us. So when the body is under constant stress, it utilizes all its energy reserves to deal with constant threat from the external environment. And it has no or very little energy left for growth, for repair, for creativity, and that compromises our immune system. And we cannot move forward in life because we feel stuck, physically, mentally, emotionally stuck. And the other ironic outcome of this is that we become addicted to emotions of stress that are keeping us stuck and sick. How we become addicted to living under stress? How come, you may ask? Addicted to emotions? Yes, because the rush of adrenaline and the rest of the stress hormones like cortisol arouses our brain and body, providing the rush of energy. That's how we become addicted to our stressful emotions, that in turn keep us feeling that we have to push through, do more, be faster in order to survive. As you can see, it could be a very painful and dangerous cycle. And I decided to bring this to your awareness today, not only to make you pay attention to what's going on with your mind and body, but also to tell you that you can and you must break this vicious cycle before it breaks you, before it causes havoc in your health, in your relationships, in your money, and in your life overall. So what can be done? You can condition yourself, your mind and body, for your future instead of reliving your past. Yep, it's possible. It is possible. And let me share with you just a few tools, useful tools that you could use, and I use them as well. So number one, you probably guessed it, it would be meditation. Consistent, intentional, powerful meditations can realign your energy, making your brain and heart function in a coherent way. As Dr. Joe Dispenza likes to say, brain thinks, but heart knows. Number two would be you can practice conscious living, consciously choosing the emotions you want to feel each day when you wake up. You can choose it. You can choose to focus on elevated emotions like love, appreciation, joy, inspiration, gratitude, peace, strength, confidence, compassion. All these elevated emotions help elevate the frequency vibration of your body and improve its function. Next tool that I would like to share with you would be a few, actually, not just one. It could be something like tapping or EFT, emotional freedom technique. It could be Sedona method that helps you to release tension and expectations. Could be peace process, Alexander technique for balancing mind and body, PMR, progressive muscle relaxation, or TRE, tension release exercise. All of these tools are very potent and very powerful. So consider them. And you can also work with hypnotherapy, professional hypnotherapist, and energy healing. When I work with my clients on any money goals, I always incorporate energy healing because that's the holistic approach to becoming financially independent. So the bottom line, whatever techniques you decide to use, it always starts with your awareness, what's happening with you on the inside. So today you learn what happens when we live in a state of survival. What happens when we live in a state of survival and why you must stop this downward spiral and shift to thriving, whether it's your money, your relationship, health, or career. Thank you again for tuning in today. I really appreciate your time. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you again next week on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Dare to Change Life Facebook page. Be well. Grow your wealth. Live on your terms.